Loneliness. We've all felt lonely at some part of our lives, some more than others. I was a lonely person for a long time, going most days without even speaking to a soul, apart from when I had tea with my family once a day. I was one of those people who believed I was destined to be alone forever, never finding anyone who actually understood me and would want to be around me of their own volition. I'd accepted the fact that loneliness was all I was going to know. I became comfortable with it, maybe too comfortable. It became my normal, my place I felt happy when I was by myself, with no one around. Whenever I spoke to people or had to go into the outside world and socialize, I'd always feel like I wanted to be anywhere else but there. Being so lonely, it changed me. It introverted me. Talking to people became impossible for me because I rarely ever did it. I'd been alone with my own thoughts for that long that myself was the only person I felt safe around. I was happier by myself, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but only if that's the case sometimes. But for me, that was all the time. People believe that being lonely is nothing but never-ending sadness, yet that's not completely the truth. There can be a kind of calmness to the loneliness. There are times when I feel truly at peace, like just for that moment, I can breathe in fresh air and be happy by myself, feeling like the world is actually a good place for a small amount of time. Nowadays, in present time, I'm not as lonely as I once was. I have someone who loves me in my life, and I them. With that person, it feels like I'm not lonely anymore, and that I never want to be again. But still, the loneliness lingers. It doesn't quite fully go away, ever. I don't see my friends anymore, when in past years we'd meet up every week or so. I don't socialize like I used to in the years I wanted to be anything but a lonely person. Now, it's as if I avoid socializing and seeing people I know like it's the plague. I'm still confused. I don't know if I'm forever cursed to feel lonely, or if it's just that I need to make more of an effort to be around people and to not be by myself for most of the time. Back when I was a teenager, around the age of 16 and below, I was lonely because I was so full of anxiety and self-doubt that I found it so hard to meet up with friends or even just to go out into the world by my own choice. And back then, being lonely, it wasn't a choice. It was something I had to suffer through. I was and still am someone who finds it hard to talk about how I feel and what I'm thinking, even now. So in those days, talking to someone and telling them what was going on with me, there wasn't even the slightest possibility of that happening. Of course, over time, I've got better, but I hold back my deeper feelings, as it hurts to even think about them. All of us are broken in some sort of way. For the majority of my teen life and even up to a couple of years ago at 20, I felt like my brokenness wasn't as bad as others, so it didn't mean anything, as if I wasn't hurt or broken enough to be seen as broken. I know, this was all just in my head, but from what I've experienced, it's the conclusion I came up with at the time. It's now nearing the end of March 2025, and I'm trying to open up with my feelings of loneliness. I'm seeing that being lonely, it feels more like a choice to me, when before it wasn't. And yet, I'm in a part of my life where I just want to focus on myself more than anything. So having others around me, having them care about me, it isn't part of my plan. That's what I think in my head. And still it is loneliness. And I do want to stop being that lonely, and I will try better. We just need to try better. And just that little bit of trying, it can help so much. There's only one person in my life who doesn't make me feel lonely. The love of my life. The girl who takes my loneliness away with her presence alone. Even if it's just a message, I feel like I'm not alone again. Not feeling that never-ending, ever so saddening loneliness. The one that tucks you in at night. The one that makes you feel like your life is just a void of nothingness. Maybe what I'm talking about isn't just loneliness. Maybe it's something deeper, something more. But that's for me to figure out in the future. As we never truly know what is going on, we just make assumptions and take guesses with the evidence we have in our possession. If you're someone who struggles with loneliness, then I hope that this video has helped you, even if it's just in the slightest way. I'd love for you to tell me your experiences in the comments below. I hope people will relate to your experience, and you can then see that us loners, we can be lonely together. I've been Ramos. I love y'all. See you next time.